Good day. Thank you for turning back into the Speakers Bureau, St. Lucie County Public Schools Speakers Bureau. I am Dr. Donna Mills, one of 5 school board members who is advocating for this program. Thank you to the superintendent for being open to encouraging the community to take part in the public school system. And this is just one of the many ways that we do that with our community. So we bring people in to talk about their stories.
Yes.
And I have a guest with me that I have known for a long time. And he has a great story to encourage and to inspire those that are listening to this program today. So please make sure that you've done what you want to do, because I know you're going to enjoy sitting and really listening to Elder Terrance Alexander Beauford.
Yes.
Now, he is a native, was born and raised here in this community. He was, in fact, born at the 7th Street Hospital here in Fort Pierce. And
yes.
Some of you don't know anything about the 7th Street Hospital, but that was way before Longwood was here. He was born on September the 8th, 1973. And he grew up in the community of Fort Pierce. He went to our public school system. He started out at Francis K. Sweet and then went on to Lakewood Park. From there, he went to Lincoln Park Academy and eventually graduated from Westwood. From Westwood High School. So he's been around a long time.
Yes.
But after graduation, he eventually went into the service, into the U.S. Air Force after high school, and served from 1991 to 1995.
Yes.
But in between all of that, his life story is going to inspire us, because today, after leaving the Air Force, he went into, became a firefighter.
Yes.
And he's been a firefighter for going on 20 years now,
yes.
and is about to retire.
Yes.
So the years go by quickly. But he's going to share with us his life here in Fort Pierce, what he currently does, as well as how he grew up here in this community.
Yes.
And he's an elder.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if I said elder the first time, but he's now an elder, which is a minister.
Yes.
And he is the son. His mother is also a pastor here in this community. And I'm sure he will talk about her, because I know she made a difference in his life as well. So, Mr. Beauford, Elder Beauford, the first question I want to know is, tell us a little bit about your work, because you're mainly here today and have been asked to be here today because of your work with Men of the Sword.
Okay.
And so we want to know just a little bit about your background and your work right now, currently.
Absolutely.
And welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm so humbled to be here. So thank you. First of all, the Men of the Sword sort of sprung off of my life story, which growing up, I was an athlete. I had a single parent mom. My mom and dad was together until I was about 8. And then they split from there on. Mom raised us. She got married, had some marriage issues, got divorced, but she sort of raised us as a single parent. And in that, she put us in sports, and grew up in the neighborhoods all throughout Fort Pierce. My freshman year in high school, I got sort of sidetracked and got involved in a gang. In one of the local gangs back in 87, and it sort of took me in a direction that was very impacting in my life, because I hung out on the streets, stayed out late, smoked marijuana, drank Wild Irish Rose, all sorts of stuff we did, back up and down the road from Miami. And I came to a point where I had we fought a lot back then. Unfortunately, in today's time, these kids shoot a lot. But we fought a lot, and one of the guys I was hanging with, we wind up getting into a fight on Avenue D, 20th Street. Guy put a gun to his head, said he wanted me, not him. So that kind of stirred in my mindset, okay, I want something out of life. I want to live. So but I kind of reverted back to not having that father in my home. You know, wish I had that, but I didn't allow it to hinder my life from there for, you know, moving forward. But so I made a choice that I wanted to live. So mom was a praying mom, wind up going to the Air Force, got out the Air Force, and before even going to the Air Force, we were connected strongly with Save Our Children, which was called Bible Way, underneath the pastoring of Pastor Kenny Mills and Dr. Donna Mills.
Yours
And so,
truly.
yes. And that was a huge impact. So in getting out the Air Force, I came back to Pastor Mills, and while I was in the Air Force, a lot of mentors embraced me, and you know, just the whole impacting of having a mentor in my life was something that spun the idea of having a young boys group. And so when I came to Save Our Children, it was such a huge impact because Dr. Kenny Mills' program offered Men of Valor, which was huge.
Yes.
Which was huge. And so that was like, whoa, okay, this is reality. Getting involved. And I got involved with that program. And so from there, I went to Bishop Gordon's church. And in going to Bishop Gordon's church, it was a place where I became an elder. But the opportunity to start a boys group in the church started at Tabernacle.
And that's where that men
And that's
of the
where the Men
sword.
of the Sword came
Okay.
into play
Boys
at the
group,
church.
Youth.
Yeah, and so we had a boys group in the church, and we had over 40 boys or so. And these kids, a lot like myself, you know, single parent homes, you know, living in the neighborhood, influenced by environment. So we were able to impact them. But it came to be in '98, I believe it's when a lot of the violence began to spun off in the community. A lot of gunshots and death. And so there was a community cry, we need the help of the church. We need the help of the community. And so as time moved forward, different people, we came together and said, hey, let's spin outside the church walls and start a community group. And that's where we pursued Men of the Sword as a nonprofit. And so in 2009, we became a nonprofit. 2011, we became a 501c3, and we built from there. A gentleman that was a part of the organization, Terrance Mills, brought in the young ladies. And that's where now today it's called Men and Women of the Sword.
Okay.
And so we understood, because he worked at Eckerd's, and they worked with boys and girls. We understood that not only our boys are affected, but our young ladies are affected.
time.
And so that's how, to today's time, and that's the short version, that Sword Outreach, Mentoring, and Resource Center came into be as Men and Women of the Sword.
Okay, now what do you do there with the youth?
So because we call it now, the umbrella is Sword Outreach Mentoring, and we added on Resource Center. So mentoring is our heart. So we mentor the kids. We mentor them. We go to the schools to mentor them. We partner with Eckerd's Connect Youth Program. And then we mentor by referrals. So we get referrals from parents, from the Department of Juvenile Justice. So we mentor them. We do activity days, teaching days, and then we've established different other program objectives. Like we have an after-school program, tutoring. We're now funded by Children's Service Council.
Good.
We also have sports, from basketball to dance to
So you
step.
take this child basically and make life pretty busy for them.
Make them busy.
Because
and
you mentioned even with your mom
Yes.
keeping you involved in
Yes.
sports.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't get it as
Yes.
parents until
Yes.
after,
Absolutely.
but it is extremely important
Yes.
to keep our children active.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, wear them out.
Yes.
And I learned that kind
Yes,
of after
yes, yes.
my parenting.
That's right.
But to wear that child out, to give them something to do all the
Right,
time,
right.
you know, once they get their homework done, they've got
Right,
something.
right.
If it's not,
Right.
you know, just wear them out.
Yes. And
Then they don't have time or energy to do anything
That's right.
other than that,
Yes.
right?
And what I found, like Pop Warner, and it just spawned to me the other day, that's what we've been doing the whole time. But in Pop Warner football, as I was involved, it was a character development. the coaches were mentors. It was helping me to gain a sense of unity, teamwork, discipline, structure.
Right.
So, and that's what we do with everything we do is mentoring. Even the sports, we use it to develop character. Because we do life skill
Everything
teachings.
is about, and that's so important. While we
Right.
have the children,
Exactly.
we are
Gotta
teaching them life
teach 'em and
skills.
impart
We're
'em
teaching them
life
leadership
skills.
skills. We're
Yes.
teaching them how to work together and
Yes,
cooperate
yes.
with one another.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and that's very important, our
Yes.
social skills with our children.
Absolutely.
Even to, and we can give them a whole lot of fun,
Right.
but
right.
they must learn to respect
They
the
gotta learn to
program
respect. That's
and
correct.
what's being done with
That's
the program.
correct.
Well,
Yes,
we thank
ma'am.
you so much
Yes, ma'am.
for
Yes, ma'am.
going out of your way.
Yes.
You have a full-time job
Yes.
as a firefighter,
Yes.
but I don't know if it's a secret or not, but you told me that you were going to be retiring soon.
Yes, it's actually been exposed because, I first of all, I consulted the Lord, in direction. And then I took it to my wife, and we came into agreement. And then I shared it with my pastor. So, I didn't just, it's not a decision I made, haphazardly or just jumping into, but there's a greater purpose that God has me going forward in.
Yes.
And He has things in place.
What is your passion?
My passion is to see families made whole, to see our community working together. My passion is to, and that's what I put a lot of effort in, and I've done it for years without a paycheck.
That's when you know it's passion.
That's when you know it's a passion. To see our kids on a better pathway, because all kids are capable of success.
Yes, they are.
They just need someone that cares to take the time out to give them an opportunity. And we've done it without a paycheck for years.
And that is community work.
Yes.
So, and I know that we as
Yes.
in the public school system appreciate
Yes.
the community work
Yes.
that's being done with
Yes.
our children and our youth,
Yes.
because our teachers are in a situation in a day where they need
Yes.
more so than the parent to
Yes. Yes.
help. And they're dealing with
Yes.
20 or more
Yes.
children
Yes. Yes.
and every day, and they need the community
That's
and
right.
the
That's
parents
right.
to step up and to make sure that that child is doing what they're supposed to
right.
be doing.
That's
I
right.
had a speaker on that mentioned his favorite teacher, or the teacher that made the most difference that he could think of at the
Right,
moment
right.
in his life. And the reason why she made that difference was because she reached from her classroom into his home.
Wow. That is absolutely.
Yeah, she made a phone
Yes,
call.
yes,
Said, look,
yes.
your child has this tremendous
Right.
potential, but he's not doing it.
Yes. Yes.
And then
yes.
the parent, which happened to be a grandparent,
Right. Right.
jumped right in there and
Wow.
did their part. And
Wow.
today this young man is very successful.
That's huge.
Yeah. And so,
Yes.
and when he reflected on those people that had made a difference in his life.
Right,
Even though
right.
he was being hard-headed at the time, he was really
Right.
taking it in
Right.
for a time later in his life where now he's very successful.
Absolutely.
So tell me,
Absolutely.
is there someone, can you name a person who had a tremendous impact on your life as a leader? Now that could be anyone.
Right.
And then give me a person a teacher who made a tremendous impact. So we want to hear two different names out there. Throw them out.
So there's many.
I know,
All
I
right.
know. That's putting you on the spot,
There's
but
many. So I have to say Bishop Harry Gordon, because he imparted truth, although I'm just speaking of me, no one else, but I was hard-headed,
you usually are at
to
first,
truth.
especially being young.
Yes.
And
but
the
he-
mind hasn't quite
right,
developed, the
right.
experience behind that.
Yes,
But, yeah.
but he imparted truth, and he imparted it with love and patience. Not giving up and believing in individual. And so that was his legacy of impartation, that he saw what God saw in you, and then he sought to drive it or You know, even to the point of, you know, God said He chastised them whom He loved, even to the point of correction and
Oh,
reproof,
yeah. That's
because
important.
that just brings
That's
out the
important.
best of you. And so, because for years, you know, He, you know, we make our choices and we have to suffer those consequences. But He was like, hey, go this way, go this way, go that way, this, you know, such and
Yes,
such.
yes.
But we still want to go that way.
Right, and we have
You
to,
know?
but we remember those things
We
that people
remember
say
them.
to us, and that's why
Absolutely.
it's like I say it all the time.
Yes.
Those people that have planted
Yeah.
seeds
Yes.
in our life
Yes.
may not see the fruition of it
Absolutely.
until years later before we see the impact that it made.
Yeah. You said teacher.
Yes.
So a teacher would be. Could it be a coach that was a teacher?
Sure.
Yeah. So Coach Cash
Okay.
and Ned, you know, they were my track
Is
coaches.
he still living?
I don't know if Coach Cash is. That's a great question. But I know Coach Ned is. Kevin
Okay.
Ned, you probably remember him.
Okay.
But anyway, they again during my junior year in high school. It's when I was spearing off of decision makings and struggling with the gang and you know, trying to find myself. And so I was still playing sports, and I almost got expelled from school. Almost got expelled because I was, you know, had this this temper about me, and my French teacher, you know, snatched some paper from me, and and Dean McGee. You remember Dean McGee? But they, you know, they were people who pushed you and believed in you, and they saw the potential in you. So I ran sports. I broke the 100-meter record at Westwood. You know, I was what you call the coaches award at the end. But they believed in me to go the back for me. You know, to prevent me from getting expelled, because I would have been out the school system. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
So they
Back
believed
then,
in me.
It was like you're
Right.
out.
You know, and
Yeah.
so to push you to your greatest potential. And they did that. They did that, both of them. So I had to give it to them, you know, in that
Wow.
sense, because, you know, just that they didn't have to.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just a matter of, you know, you got those caring adults that see what you don't see at times. You know?
And that is why we're a county of kids at hope.
Yes.
Where we
yes.
believe all children are capable
Absolutely.
of success, no exceptions.
Yes.
And we have those, we use the deck of cards.
Yes.
And we have those aces,
Aces,
and those
yes.
spades,
Yes,
and those
yes.
diamonds in our lives.
Yes.
And all of us together.
That's
because
correct.
one of it is the parent. And
Yep.
you can talk a little bit now about your parent. You
Yes.
grew up with a single
Yes.
parent
Yes.
mom.
Yes. Yes.
But what difference she made in your life.
Oh my goodness.
And so we can't do it. The parent is the first educator.
First
right?
educator, absolutely.
And then the community gets in, and the
Yes,
school
yes,
gets
yes,
in,
yes,
and,
yes.
and the teachers, and all
Absolutely.
of us together
Absolutely.
is what makes a difference in a
Absolutely,
child's
absolutely.
life. So glad you had people that cared about
Yeah.
you beyond what they needed
Yes,
to do, and they
yes.
saw the potential in you.
Yes. Yes.
Is there a book or quote that someone might have said to you in the past that have helped to change your life?
When I was in the Air Force, my mom used to, and you mentioned about my mom, there's so many stories I could talk about her, but she used to send me so many books,
Oh,
and I would read them, and there was, you know, it's spiritual. Good Morning, Holy Spirit by Benny Hinn.
okay. She send you those books.
All
You
sorts,
read them.
and I would read them. It impacted my life.
Oh, yes.
It
Very much.
literally caused me to begin to mature in a faraway country. I was in England, overseas.
Yes.
I was in England.
That's a story
And-
all by itself.
Yes, and those books gave me hope, a sense of purpose in life. You know what I mean? Just feeding them and then applying them too. You know what I mean? Because, you know, don't say I wasn't making no mistakes and some bad choices, but yet I was channeling what I was reading.
Right.
You know,
right.
I was channeling. I learned Smith's Wigglesworth,
Oh, yeah.
Wigglesworth, all those different books she would send me.
Wow. Okay.
You know, and so there's many books, you know, Purpose Driven Life,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
multiple leadership books, because I'm a firm believer in leadership,
Okay.
affirmation books that deals with the mind, you know, helping
Yes.
you to think positive
Yes.
in
Yes.
spite of.
Do you believe in second chances?
Absolutely. Yes.
Explain a little bit on that.
So because we're mankind, we're human, we're susceptible to make error and fail, and no one's perfect. Everyone
right.
can look in the mirror and see fault in themselves. So looking at someone else, you know, God's heart is beyond our heart. And no matter what a person's done, you know, it simply, if you've been given a second chance, and that's why I believe in it, because I was given a second chance,
Like you
more
said, you
than a
almost
second
got
chance.
expelled. You still
Right.
had people working with you and
Yes.
trying to do whatever they
Absolutely.
could to cause you to wake up.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Things we've done to hurt people, said something wrong, or marriage, relationship, whatever. You know what I mean? Growth. Second chances allows you to grow.
Right. In your family now, you have
Yes.
how many children?
I have
Married?
4. And
Yes.
yeah, beautiful, beautiful family. I love my
What's the
family.
ages?
So my oldest girl will be 19. She's 18.
Okay.
My son is 14. He's about to turn 15 on the 29th.
Okay.
My my daughter, Alexandra, she's 7, just turned 7.
Okay.
And now I have a newborn. She's
Yes,
7
you do.
months.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
So the first 3, did they
Yes.
all attend public school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Great, great.
Yes. Yes.
How do you push through your worst times?
So I've learned that. I've learned it through literally the maturing in life. Because, you know, when I went to the Air Force, mom wasn't there anymore. Dad wasn't there. Family wasn't there. No one. You know what I mean? But because of what I had learned, what had been planted, generated inside of me. So I channel my rough times to God in a place of meditation.
I hear that over and over
Yeah.
again on the program.
Yes.
You know, a strong faith and
Yes.
and scientifically research
Yes.
shows that
Yes.
people are more resilient when they have
Absolutely.
a strong faith.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you some experiences from working in Longwood ER, seeing drive-by shootings brought into our ER, and it overwhelming you.
Yeah.
To, you know, relationship situations,
Yeah.
to, you know, financial situations, to job, to whatever. But I found my serenity and sense of peace through the place of prayer, to the place of stilling away with God, and sometimes you cry, sometimes you're silent, sometimes you're weeping, but He overwhelms you with His peace.
Yes, yes, yes. I
And
hear
that's
that over
really-
and over again on the Speaker Bureau. Now, do you believe that you are doing what you have always wanted to do growing up, or have you deterred into what you wanted to be when you grow up? Is this something that's always been in you to
Yeah.
you're a firefighter and you're working in the community
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
SWORD initiative
Yes. So I believe that this is what I've been called to do.
and a minister?
Yes. It's literally what I've been called to do. It's always been some type of characteristic of mine growing up. I've always been bashful and shy, but had a leadership ability that had to be developed. So when I was growing up, just exposure in grade school, elementary, to assemblies of the fire department that came out to your school, the Expand the Horizon program, and so that was like, that's a very strong interest
Okay.
of helping people, and that's what I drew to. I was a firefighter in the Air Force for 4 years,
Okay.
for crash and structure fire rescue.
Now you
and-
mentioned a program in school that
Yep.
encouraged and inspired you to
Yes,
also.
yes.
What was the name of that program at that time?
So at Lakewood Park, they just would do assemblies and bring out Career Day, and they
different
would bring the fire department out. And then when I turned 13, it was called Expanding Horizon back then. Then it turned into job force or workforce, different things. So Expanding Horizon was held right at IRCC back then, and it offered just so many a wide variety to low-income families to be able to put their kids in a summer program that they would get paid for, as well as learn job skills. And fire department was a part of it, and that passion just kept or stayed with me. So when I went to the recruiter office, I was offered the list, and that's what popped out at me, stood out, and that's what I've been led and passionate about doing. And then with what I'm doing with the sword, it's always been in me, but it had to germinate or grow. And so as I built confidence in the Lord, grew in the Lord, grew in life, learned life experiences, trials and tribulations, when I got out is what I sought to do.
Elder Beauford, what advice would you give someone that's going into leadership position for the first time? You know, that maybe has worked in an organization
Yes.
and they
Oh,
want
my.
to be promoted, even if they're not going into it right now, but they would
Yes,
desire
yes.
to be in a leadership position in life.
So, one is be open to learn as much as you can. Take some leadership class, because that's going to enhance your knowledge on being a leader. Have a mindset of following. You got to be able to follow before you can lead, and that just established the example. A leader is an example to others, but how you going to be an example if you yourself can't follow? So be open to follow, and then humility. Be willing to be temperate and humble. Be willing to listen and humble in your response. That you don't your tone. You in leadership class, you learn how to present the right tone of voice, how to address situations appropriately, to get the response you're looking for.
So education in leadership.
Yes.
Yeah, getting one to get themselves educated
Yes.
in that area.
Yes.
That's good. Along
Yes.
with what you're saying about the being humble
Being humble.
and
Yes.
and being able to be workable.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you do need to get some education in
Yes,
leadership.
it's
You
big.
mentioned several books, and those books really
Absolutely.
dealt with
Absolutely. Yes.
how to get to where you are
Yes,
today. You mentioned
yes,
that.
yes,
So
yes.
education and reading
Yes.
is so very, very important.
Yes. Yes.
What is a skill that you would like to learn now? And we're closing up.
Okay.
But
So skills now,
Yeah.
growing more so. I know the computer. I'm techno sound,
Okay. Yeah.
but Excel,
Okay.
Microsoft Excel, spreadsheets.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to know more about that? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
We are coming to a close.
Yes.
We thank you so much.
Yes.
You are, because of your work in the community, you are one of our 17 honorees that's coming up in a
Yes.
program that we're having called Fathers Honoring Fathers.
Yes.
And you just have made a tremendous impact, and I want you to know that we're thankful
Yes.
and we appreciate what
Yes.
you've done.
Yes.
You make us feel good as
Yes.
being some of your mentors.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming on the
you.
program and being willing
Yes.
at the last minute to accept
Absolutely.
the invitation. And I wish we had more time.
I know. Yes.
Yes, but the time goes by
Yes.
quickly.
Yes.
And 20 years later,
That's
from
right.
the fire department, I mean, I'm like, wow.
Yes.
Because I knew you
Yes.
before the fire department. I mean, and the years have gone by quickly.
And that would have been more to share, because that's
Yes.
a huge impact.
Yes.
Yep.
So, community, young people, we thank you for joining in for the Speakers Bureau again. Elder Terrance Beauford, thank you for your
Yes.
coming and being a part
Absolutely.
of it.
Thank
we
you.
enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That was awesome.